Welcome. My name is Abel Sanchez. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about callbacks. These turn out to be tremendously useful. They give us a lot of flexibility as well as extensibility. JavaScript, as you might know, allows you to define functions as variables. In fact, they are no different than any other objects. The only difference is that you can invoke them. And so we can take advantage of this feature of the language to pass them around and allow us to gain some flexibility. When it comes to callbacks, formally, we think of a callback as a function that is passed as an argument to other code. Now, the code that receives this argument is expected to call back or execute the argument, that function, once it's needed. So let's go ahead and write some code to illustrate some of these concepts. So let's go ahead and move to the editor. And as you can see here, I have a list of numbers defined in an array. And so what I want to do is I want to be able to write a filter, as you can see here in line 11, that will take a callback. Now, the reason you might want to do this is that you cannot foresee ahead of time all of the different ways in which someone might want to filter data. They might not even have an array. They might have a collection of objects, or they might have some other complicated data structure. And so how they are filtering, what criteria they're using, you cannot know ahead of time. So if you provide the flexibility of allowing the user of your API to be able to provide a function, a callback function, then you can accommodate this capability without having to write all of the functionality. So as you can see here, we have a couple of functions. One is the callback, which we will write in a minute. The other one is the filter. And then we call the filter, as you can see, with two parameters. The very first parameter is the data that we're acting on, which is our list. And the second parameter is the callback function. So let's go ahead and take a look at our callback function. This is going to be a pretty simple callback. We're going to filter this list that we have here. So we'll create a new variable for ourselves. We'll call it new list. This will be an empty array. And then we're going to create a for loop to simply move through the data. So we'll use a JavaScript for loop, and we will run through the entire length of the list. So we'll add a condition there to stop the loop once we've reached that length. Now, inside of the loop, we're going to have a condition where we're going to check to see simply the value of that number. And in this case, just to take a certain example, we're going to filter for those that have a value of less than 5. So we'll enter that condition here. And if that turns out to be true, we will push that item into the new list. As you can see there, I've done just that. And then once we're done with this, we will return the new list to the calling function. Now, all we have to do here at this point is to be able to invoke that callback with the parameter. So we will call the function, and we will pass the parameter, and we will return all of this to the line where it is invoked on line 22. So this is a pretty flexible mechanism, and as you will see, there's a lot of structures within the language of JavaScript that allow you to provide a callback function. And we will see that throughout the number of lessons that we will do on this topic. So let's go ahead and save this file and move over to the browser simply to see what this looks like once we execute. So let's go ahead and reload this page. And let's go ahead and open up the console. Let me go ahead and load it. Oh, I am missing a message to the console, so I can take a look at what that value is. I'm simply going to write the value of filtered. So if we reload this page, you can see there that we have the values that are less than 5. If we were to change this, we would get the values that are greater than 5. And so you can see then that we could change this function really to do anything else that we may want. You could have it concatenate the values, you could have it divide by 4, you could have it simply select the ones that were multiples of 2. And so I'll leave this for you to do as an exercise to sort of push on this concept of callbacks and to play around with the flexibility that it allows you. And so with that, I'll wish you happy coding and goodbye.